and good luck to all 4 teams. The 4th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft presented by State Farm goes to the Washington Mystics.
Washington, Aaliyah, you were a little disappointed when you heard the 11% chance, but a lottery pick, still extremely huge for this organization, still on the hunt for a head coach. Injury-riddled last season, but so much promise and so much to build on and a great fan base. 3 teams left. Bethany, what you got?
Picking 3rd will be the Chicago Sky.
I'll take Chicago. Okay.
There we go. Okay, Chicago Sky. First year head coach Tyler Marsh joining the young talent that he talked about when it comes to Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso. You all had top 10 picks in the 2024 WNBA Draft and secured another one. Bethany, we got 2 left.
Yep, we're down to the final 2 teams vying for the top pick. The 2nd pick goes to the Los Angeles Sparks. That means the first pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft presented by State Farm goes to the Dallas Wings.
Do you still want to switch? Or?
Okay.
Okay.
The Dallas Wings with the #1 overall pick. LA Sparks secured the 2nd pick. Rakia, you did great. 2nd pick coming your way to join you and Cameron Brink. But the #1 pick goes to you, Maddie Siegrist and the Dallas Wings. How does it feel?
Super exciting. I mean, I think we had the best odds with the trades and stuff. So, I think we've seen how impactful lottery picks have been, especially, past few seasons. So we're super excited.
Well, Maddie, with you now having finished your 2nd year in the WNBA, to the rookies coming in, what would be your biggest advice you would give to them?
Kind of like what Rakia said, there's a lot of ups and downs in your first season. So really lean on your teammates and your support system.
And what about when it comes to, you've made a big jump from your first season to your 2nd season when it comes to developing and having that confidence coming off of your rookie season. How would you describe that?
I think, leaning on my teammates and like being a sponge, you try to just each year you want to get a little bit better. And I think, that's always the goal. And, just learn as much as you can as a rookie.
Now, you made that, Andraya talked about that big jump. What else does Dallas need to do to be able to get into the playoffs?
Well, it'll be exciting, I think, the new front office and the coaches, it'll be exciting to see who we get. And obviously, a lottery pick's going to help a lot as well.
Yeah, a couple of things working in your favor when it comes to turning the corner and changing directions. But what about the city of Dallas? Like for someone, whoever this first draft pick is coming into Dallas, how would you describe the city and the fan base?
Well, we're getting a new facility, so that'll be done, the end of next year, which is super exciting. I think, everyone's excited. And there's a lot of good barbecue and steak in Texas, so hopefully you like that.
Good barbecue, good steak, and great odds when it came to getting that #1 overall pick, and you got it. Congratulations, Maddie.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
On December 6th, tune in to ESPN for a WNBA expansion draft special. The newest WNBA team, the Golden State Valkyries, will be revealing their inaugural roster built from a designated pool of available players from the other 12 WNBA teams. The WNBA is growing. What a great chance to see who will lead the Valkyries in their first WNBA season. For those of you that don't know the expansion draft rules, to assemble their roster, the Valkyries will pick from a pool of available players and can select one from each of the 12 current teams. Those existing 12 teams can protect a maximum of 6 players from their roster being selected. If a player is not under contract for 2025, Golden State can still select them and will have whatever negotiating rights the previous team held. Welcome back into studio. Andraya Carter with the Hall of Famer, Carolyn Peck. CP, the expansion draft is happening. That's going to add a lot of layers into this next draft. But we now know the #1 overall pick is going to the Dallas Wings. When you evaluate what Dallas needs with this #1 pick, what are you thinking?
Well, the first thing I'm thinking is one of the things that they needed the most was a dynamic point guard. Yeah. And they got that, and that allows Arike Ogunbowale to move off the ball. So when you move her off the ball, and then with the post players that you have with Tierra McCowan inside. Now, free agency is going to be interesting because Natasha Howard, Satu Sabali, are they going to sign and come back now that Paige Bueckers is there? I think that makes it pretty attractive to stay in Dallas.
And we've already talked about Paige and her skill set, but if you were to imagine her in Dallas playing alongside some of those players, how do you see it working?
Well, I think that she is a guard that commands the floor. And I think you've got to have that strong personality to play next to a player like Arike Ogunbowale. And I think that Paige Bueckers has Ogunbowale's respect and understanding. They can be that 1-2 punch. I think that this instantly elevates the probability for Dallas to get into the playoffs next season.
I think another good thing that's really important when it comes to Paige Bueckers, if she does go on to be this overall pick, is she's a culture kid. She is a kid that comes from the UConn Huskies program, comes from that team, comes from being under Gino Auriemma. And so when you talk about a team that's trying to figure out their front office, trying to figure out their head coach, how do you see her personality and some of those intangibles working with whoever ends up leading the way?
I think one of the biggest things that you see from Paige Bueckers this season is her maturity. Because she's leading a young team. And look, the reason that she came back this season was to win a national championship, but she knew she had to do it not by just production on the floor, but by being that leader, by really demonstrating and also commanding that the players on her team do what's necessary, really require her team to perform at a professional level, to know when to work, to know the intensity that you've got to practice with in order to perform.
And another thing, too, some people talk about Paige and her frame. How have you seen players, just from their rookie season to their second season in the WNBA, how do you imagine her frame, her strength, and everything growing as she continues in the league?
You know, that's a great question because I think that early in her season, I wondered how frail she was. But after watching her go through the complete season last year, lead a team that only had 6 players, not just in the NCAA tournament, but to the Final Four. And the way that she has come back this season, she is stronger. She is she empowers her will on teams. When she decides to take over a game, forget about it because Paige is able to do that.
And it seems like that takeover mentality has started this season as she worked into it last season. High expectations for the Dallas Wings with the #1 overall pick. High expectations for Paige Bueckers, the potential #1 overall pick. And high expectations for the draft in general. As we take a look now, it is set the first round of the 2025 WNBA Draft. The Dallas Wings will have the #1 overall pick. Will it be Paige Bueckers, followed by the LA Sparks at 2, Chicago Sky at 3, and the Washington Mystics at 4. And our newest team, the Golden State Valkyries, at 5.